What's a piece of information you learned that now feels almost illegal to know? You can ask the FBI if they have a file on you. They do now. Exactly lol. When I was a kid, my dad taught me how to pick a lock. I became very interested in different kinds of locks and purchased a lock pick set. I practiced for years and became pretty good at certain types of locks. So over the years, every now and then, if a neighbor locks themselves out of the house or a friend loses the key to a padlock or a lockbox, I've been able to help. But the reactions I tend to get from people, even while I'm helping them with their lock, is mainly one of mistrust. I'm not a cat burglar. I just like locks. In Canada, you can record any conversation with someone without their knowledge, unless it is in furtherance of an offense. I had to do this with an auto restoration shop in order to do a Visa chargeback when they did nothing to my car but steal parts for almost a year. Curtis Customs in Nova Scotia. I don't mind mentioning them because there are already news stories about their scams. Edit. A lot of replies from people possibly misreading. If you are recording a conversation with someone, you are part of the conversation and would be the consenting individual, one-party consent. It's definitely wrong and illegal to record just any conversation between two or more other people. 51 is divisible by 17. Now that's the sketchy stuff I came here for. A lot of people talking about making meth. The real danger is making math. It takes 3 full rotations to remove a human head due to the skin's elasticity. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey? Knock fest kommt ab, German idiom which means tighten it too much, and it becomes loose again, breaks, which seems quite adequate for this situation. This is England knowledge, other countries may vary. If you are struggling to pay bills, make water the first one you skip. Access to water is protected by law, so the utility supplier cannot cut you off. Edit. Thanks for all the replies, but, honestly, I don't think I need anyone else to tell me this doesn't apply in the US. I worked for a giant tech company and apparently share the same name as a very high-up hardware engineer, got put on email threads I definitely didn't belong on. Edit. On a similar funny note. One of my friends with a common name at the same company got a promotion. Our manager searched his name in the system, clicked the first she saw, and promoted him. Well, it was the wrong guy, and the guy she clicked on was also very high up, and in return it made him lose a bunch of his access, pay, benefits, etc. I have a very similar name to a guy from Ohio, and I've been getting his work emails, PayPal payments, and a bunch of other stuff when people or he forgets to add the one letter that's different in our name. Legit. Got wedding photos, had some lady keep sending me the same damn form for him to sign until I forwarded it to him and copied them both in an email telling her very politely that she had the wrong guy. Even had his friend send me a good chunk of change because our PayPal accounts are set up with super similar emails. Thought it was a scam and cussed the friend out until the guy with the name emailed me from his email and explained. We fixed that situation and they sent me a hat from the motorcycle race they were going to. Very nice guy, his wife is too, and we send each other Christmas cards through email. Lol. I don't know if it's still a thing, but if you listen to Pandora Radio, the songs download into your temp folder under your browser. Just add the MP4 after it and you can play it. I spent lots of college listening to Pandora, and if I liked a song I'd save it. If you pause the song in time, then the most recent song was the top one in the temp folder. I have my Pandora running through a proxy that stores the JSON response that has the URLs for all the songs. When a song is complete, another script reads the JSON and downloads the song, then adds the metadata, title, album, artist, album art, and adds it to my Plex. How to make explosives with everyday home products. Edit. I posted this innocuous message before bed and it went wild. I learned this info back in college in the early 80s but never used it. The guy I got the information from did, so I know it worked. And no, I will not share it. It's all over the internet, so a quick search can find a lot of ways. Edit 2, not the Anarchist Cookbook. It was a friend who was in an advanced chemistry class. Guy knew all sorts of stuff. Later in life I had a gold claim that I invited him to a lot. There was a massive boulder we had been trying to move to get the gold under it. One weekend he brought up some jars and told us to shut off all the walkie-talkies and car radios. He mixed up something and said it is so sensitive that radio signals can trigger it. He put it in a hole we drilled in the boulder and told us to hide behind the trees and not look until after. Don't know how he triggered it or what it was, but it blew that boulder into pebbles. All the stuff in the area was shredded from the rock, becoming projectiles and embedding in trees. Guy was a bit of a nut. I told him to never bring that shit again. This is why I'm deeply suspicious of the police seizing bomb-making materials. I'm a chemist, I could make a bomb out of salt water and electricity. I'm probably on a list now too. Every chemist is probably defaulted on the list. For real. I once had this larger-than-life chemistry professor, endlessly joyous and genuinely in love with her subject. She taught us how to not make psychedelics accidentally and how to not make a bomb from sugar and alcohol. Someone said she's gonna end up on a list and she replied that ship sailed when I got my undergrad. We had a chemistry teacher who roughly once a month would say, "Have we done the sodium experiment before?" And we would dutifully reply, "No sir, what's that experiment about?" We'd go out, fill a trash can full of water, and then he'd bring out a big chunk of sodium immersed in oil, throw it in the bin, and we'd all stand back for a short moment before boom, and a big spray of water would fly up in the air. A few weeks later, have we done the sodium experiment before? I think you and I might have had the same chemistry teacher. Was he Scottish? I have fond memories of him doing the sodium experiment indoors and blowing the drop tiles off the ceiling, then panicking because he remembered he'd been told off by administration for doing the sodium experiment indoors, so he bribed all the tall kids to climb onto the lab benches to replace the tiles. We had the most amazing physics teacher who looked a bit like Albert Einstein, crazy eyebrows and hair. He couldn't remember anyone's name after all the drugs he did in the 60s, so he called everyone Buddy, so everyone called him Buddy. He drove a ducking DeLorean. One time he lit up a cigarette in class, smoked a quarter of it while lecturing, and then smoothly extinguished it on a student's hand to demonstrate heat transfer. The student was in on it and had just iced the spot. The area must first heat back up to skin temperature before it could do any damage. This is how firewalkers mostly do it. Well, I gave my 9th grade chemistry class a detailed report on diacetylmorphine, heroin, for a project about organic molecules, including how to make it. It was pretty interesting to do and fun to present, but I feel like I broke the law somehow. I did something similar but with methamphetamine, and I was in 12th grade. The title was Ice Ice Baby. 90% of home locks are easily pickable with a little know-how and a couple pieces of metal. Shit. 95% of all locks are easily pickable. Locks briefly slow determined people down and deter undetermined people from trying. 1284X is a Ford fleet key. Not chipped, can be found on Amazon for $7 and perfectly legal to replicate. Searching 1284X file type .pdf site .gov will pull government bids that involve that key, and also show you what agencies you could open up or drive away a police car. Heavy equipment generally uses one key per brand. You can buy a ring of keys on Amazon or eBay for Case, Bobcat, Cat, JLG, etc. Then you can get into and operate equipment at construction sites. When you have a debt with a collection agency, you can pay the debt and then call back a few weeks later and say, "I was told when I called and paid that you had removed this from my credit score." And then you ask for documentation saying they're gonna do it. Apparently collection agencies don't keep super good records on stuff like that. They just want your money. It worked for me, and I hope it can work for you if you need it in the future. Edit. I see many comments saying things along the lines of, "Hell no, don't pay them, it comes off after 7 years." I completely get that. I had quite a few things in collections, and they absolutely destroyed my credit over them. I was in the middle of the 7 years and needed to get my credit score fixed ASAP. Doing this took my credit score from mid-500s to mid-700s. Sure, there are plenty of people on here who say it never hit their credit, and that's great for you. There are also many people suggesting talking to an attorney. That's another route you can take. This is what worked for me, and everyone else is likely in a different situation. You must do what you feel is right. Thank you to everyone commenting other information because it's all helpful. Credit scores are dumb and I wish they didn't exist. Aluminum foil can block the thefts detection signals in supermarkets. Yes, but do you fold it in the shape of a Navy hat, a Viking hat, or a samurai hat? Bowler hat.